Hi guys. I have just finished a energy transmission which basically spoke to a topic that is really delicate and, well, at least in our culture, pretty delicate, as there is so much controversy around it. And essentially it was a download from a collective that called themselves the Galactic Federation. And this collective represent a universal body. And when I say universal, I mean as in the universe. A intergalactic body of beings who have sought and continue to seek to support the evolution of humankind in spite of resistance that has been created by both beings on this planet as well as in the universe itself. This is going to be really shocking to some people, the concept of aliens, and I'm fully aware of that. But the reality is that we are moving into times now where these topics need to be discussed and acknowledged, and it is going to become an increasing part of our social narrative. And this is actually what's touched upon in the transmission that I've just downloaded, because the narrative around us being alone in the universe for such a long time has in many ways kept us hemmed in, if you like, from a sense of feeling that we are all alone and that we have to, keep ourselves safe, and that, it's a very arrogant thing in many ways, because we just assume that we are the most advanced civilization in the universe. I mean, you're just saying that out loud. The interesting thing I've always thought about with science is how it's always had this approach of denying the existence of things right up until it discovers it. And then it's like, oh, there's this new discovery, as if the thing they've discovered has never existed prior to its discovery. And yet science is only able to narrate to that which it's discovered. And it doesn't mean that those things that it has not yet discovered don't exist. It just means that we don't yet have the advanced, if you like, equipment to take these things in, to observe them. I mean, as an energy worker, personally, I have felt frustrated by this for years, because the things that I've been able to do for other people's bodies, health, lots of the things I do haven't been backed by science, and yet clearly have worked in many cases. And we as a society have been very much conditioned to believe only in that which is proven, which is crazy to me, because that which is proven is such a small scope of work, relatively speaking. We didn't believe that the earth was round until we could traverse it. We're only limited by the very primitive, really, equipment that we have. And I think that what we are going to experience, and already experiencing with what we're seeing with AI, is how much more is possible. And this message from the Galactic Federation is super powerful, because they are making a very forthright statement by speaking through people like me. And I am a starseed. I come from a Pleiadian karmic background, and part of my purpose in this lifetime is to support humanity through this shift with these transmissions. And it is in the full acceptance and cognition of that I am now devoting myself to this work, because now is the time to do this. And I have held back from this for a long time because I have felt shame and, doubt around it. And actually, it's only since coming into full acceptance of who I am and the reality, the magnificent reality that I exist in, have I felt the true freedom that brings me, and the increasing relationship with spirit. Okay, so there's a few things that I want to talk about, because what the Galactic Federation says in the energy transmission is effectively, firstly, that it exists, and secondly, that it is only here to support humanity and to work in harmony with it. And this seems to be the absolute core of its message. And it is making this statement very clearly because there are going to be experiences that are coming up that are going to put into question whether we are the only species in the universe, and if we're not, what intentions other races might have towards us. The Galactic Federation has pointed out that as on Earth, there are many different kinds of people, many different beings, both good and bad, who want different outcomes, have different agendas, but they want humanity to know specifically that the Galactic Federation itself, its sole intention is to support humanity through this energetic shift in order that humanity is able to pursue its highest purpose. They are a safe place, is what they're trying to say. So I know this is going to be a lot to digest for some people, and that many of you will have a lot of resistance to this, and this is all absolutely okay. However, I do want to talk to this a little further, because this is actually a topic that's been coming up in my soul readings I do for people on one-to-one quite a lot. And as they share in the transmission I've just done, they are introducing themselves to certain people who are on this planet to do part of this work. People like me, essentially, who came in to support this process. And what I mean by this energetic shift is that since 2020 in particular, where we've felt it on such a global level in a very practical, tangible way, with COVID being the kind of kickstart of all of it, we as a collective have been going through this significant energetic shift, moving from very dense, heavy, constricting energy into much lighter, expansive and encouraging energy. And I'm sure that most of you can resonate with what I've just said. And where we are going, basically up until 2025, this is kind of the real foundational years of this shift occurring. Once we get to 25, it starts to establish itself a bit more. But what we're going to come into the rest of this year for sure is much more about our place in the universe, and particularly around open disclosure, because there have been a lot of forces at work that have been keeping humanity at a certain energetic vibrational level through performing acts which have embedded into our psyche particular beliefs about who we are and what we are worthy of. As we are witnessing now, even with AI, we are all starting to contemplate a reality which might mean that we don't necessarily need to work, and what that could look like, which is so fascinating to me because it's such a scary concept to so many, because we've been trained to believe that our only way to exist is through working for money. However, if there was to be another means created by which we were universally able to support each other financially, which could be perfectly possible if we chose to create such a mechanism, it would mean that we wouldn't have to work. And And so many people, or at least people that I talk to about it, have said, but then Kay, what would I do? Now, this tells us so much about how we've become so entwined with our identity. As in, our identity has become entwined with our work, which is what we've been taught to believe represents our value. And so if our work is taken away from us, then our value is compromised in the eyes of many. And this is something that I really invite us all to contemplate, because once we start to step out of just that mental construct that, you know, is it actually required for the human race to work, and why? And could there conceivably be another way of doing it? Once we just start opening up to these possibilities, I'm not saying we need to come up with answers, but it's more just about expanding our level of awareness, our level of consciousness, our level of what is possible. Just by doing that, we already start to leave this very dense, controlling, limiting, constrictive energy and start to expand ourselves, elevate ourselves, and see ourselves in a much more expanded way with far greater potential. And this is really the theme for the energy that we're moving into now. It's coming at life from a place that is far more accepting and embracing of the unknown. And that's necessary because where we're coming from is becoming increasingly broken. And so unless we want to use the old paradigm of thought in a new world that we're creating, which we don't want to do, it's actually not even possible, then it is necessary for us to step into the unknown, step into the expanse without a plan, in order for us to feel our way there, find our way, navigate our way through the unknown. Like great explorers, I suppose. You know, when you think about it, they got on a ship and they left and they had no idea where they were going. And yet all of them navigated their way. And because of that, our world grew, you know. And originally we thought we were just in a little village, in a little town, maybe a little city, and that was it. And yet over our period of existence that we're aware of, we have expanded and expanded and expanded, and we've done this through moving into the unknown. And here we sit or stand, whatever, at this gateway, if you like, which offers us the same possibilities. And yet again, we are being asked to find our courage. And so I feel that it's super important right now for us to really deepen probably a lot of the work that we did during the COVID period, which was really go to our hearts and increase that connection with our own discernment, our own knowing. You know, I want you to sit with this video, sit with what I'm saying. How does it feel to you? Does it feel right to you? Does it feel in alignment with you? If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. You know, as I continue to transmit messages, activations, healings, there's going to be a lot of different information coming through, some of which will really align and some of it potentially won't. But all of it is there to just help your own thinking expand. And I think this is something that we're going to become increasingly good at as a collective, and that is being far more accepting of differing opinions and far more focused on making decisions that align with the benefit of the collective, not just the benefit of the individual. I hope that this has been inspiring, if nothing else. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.